Have you ever had days where you constantly ask yourself if you're doing good when talking or having conversations with people? Like if did you made them awkward? Did you say something that they didn't understand and now you're worried if they wanna talk to you again? Well, here are 5 ways to avoid communication breakdown by Ronnie Peterson and strategies to avoid communication breakdown by Keeper. The first way is to have clarity of thought before speaking out. And I have here some friends with me to discuss about it. Now let's get into it.
The first way is saying that being concise and sure with what you are going to say is very important in order for you to have the confidence to stand up for what you are telling in front of the people, your listeners. Because blurting out every word without even understanding what you are about to say would lead to much confusion, and you don't want that to happen. So the best way to do it is have the clarity before speaking out so that you can deliver it in a way the audience can understand what you're pointing about on your message.
The second way is learn to listen.
Listening is the ability to accurately receive the interpret message in the communication process. Listening is the key to all effectively communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. As a result, communication breaks down and the sender of the message can easily become frustrated or irritated. If there is one communication skill you should aim to master it, then listening is it. Listening is so important that many top of employers provide listening skills training for their employees. This is not surprising when you consider that good listening skills can lead to be better customer satisfaction, greater productivity with fewer mistakes, and increased sharing information. That in turn can lead to more creative and innovative work. Many successful leaders and entrepreneurs credit their success to effective listening skills, such as Richard Branson frequently quotes listening as the one of the main factors the success of Virgin. Good listening skills have also benefit in our lives. A greater number of friends and social networks, improved self-esteem and confidence, higher grades at school and in academic work, and even better health and general well-being.
The third one is to take care of your body language and tone.
Body language and tone of voice are the key parts of the nonverbal communication. You can use them to send a positive nonverbal message and reinforce what you're saying. Example: when a conversation is serious, your facial expression and your tone of voice should be serious too. When you're happy, your facial expression and tone of voice should be happy too. Your body language and tone of voice should be the same. If your face is sad but your tone is happy, people around you would be confused because when you say I'm happy, but your facial expression and tone is sad, so you say I'm happy. It's weird, right? So your facial expression and tone of voice should be the same. Example: when you say happy, I'm happy, just like that.
Now the fourth way is build up your confidence by asking for feedback and observing others.
Build up your confidence by asking for feedback and observing others. We need to build up our confidence because it helps us to feel ready for life experiences and valuing your own opinion. And providing constructive feedback not only helps people to gain a sense of worth to mitigate against imposter syndrome, it is also help to understand what they can do in order to further improve and to build on a already sound foundation. And there are tips of receiving feedback. Number one, listen to the message. Number two, Do not defend or argue. Number 3, focus on what is being said. Don't feel that you have to agree or disagree. And clarify if you are unsure. If you are applying for a new job, for example, it would be a good idea to prepare for the interview, plan what you would want to say, and think about some of the questions that you may be asked, or you have to practice with your friends and gain their feedback.
Now for the last one. The fifth one says communicate face to face on the important issues.
When having some issues about a certain problem from a certain person, it can be very tempting to just type it away and click send. But if this problem you're having trouble with is kind of important, or let's say it is very important, having a face-to-face conversation is recommended in order for you to deliver your troubles clearly and easily. Your listeners might also want to read your body language as well as your tones to clear some misunderstandings that often happens through chatting.
And for the additional info, strategies to avoid communication breakdown.
These are the strategies to avoid communication breakdown. Number 1. Use common language for communication between all parties to avoid being lost in transition. So before we start a conversation, we need to use basic word in common language to be able to understand by each other and will not lost in conversation. If we use different language in communication, it will not just bring confusion but it will also lead to different meanings. For example, you are about to talk to someone who have different nationality and that person also wants to talk to you too. You need to use common language so that you two can start a smooth and understandable conversation. Also, don't use deep meaning words so the two of you can understand each other well. Number 2. Remove distractions. Whether you're communicating in person or via email, make sure you're in a quiet environment to decipher the message accurately and really listen to what the other party is trying to say. Before starting a conversation, you must remove the distractions. Remove it and make sure the environment is quiet enough to decipher the message. The conversation sometimes can be interrupted by this distraction, so make sure you're in a quiet place and focus on the people you're communicating with. Number 3. Do not burden each other with excessive information or data strategies. The information according to its level of importance. Sometimes, we need to think if the message was important enough to be said. Because saying or speaking too much will just lead to communication breakdown. For example, you're talking with someone and you're saying that is less important to the conversation. The receiver might not listen because she is not interested in the topic you're saying. So the importance of the message is a must in a conversation. Number 4. Be be direct and concise in your communication. When you're speaking with someone, make sure you're direct and concise in your communication. Because this is a good way to start and continue an effective conversation with someone. Number 5. Do not hesitate to ask questions and encourage others to do the same. If you're communicating with someone, you should ask everything that is bothering you so that it can clarify what's been bothering in you and make sure the question you're about to ask is not personal or sensitive to the person you're going to ask. For example, you're talking with someone and you want to know if the person you're talking to is alone or living with his her parents. If he can't say it, don't force and say sorry because it is personal to the person. To end that awkward guilt moment, you can encourage her to ask everything about you. And that's all for strategies to avoid communication breakdown.
So, did you find these tips helpful? Thank you for listening.